Hello guys, in this video I'll be bringing you up to speed with the latest happening in the transfer window. Okay, without wasting much time, let's dive into it because a lot have really went down today. So let's head over to St. James's Park and see what the latest is on Alexander Isak. But before we look at the situation of Alexander Isak, if there is one club that has actually had it rough this summer, has been Newcastle United. A couple of weeks ago, they actually completed their first signing, talking about Malik Thiaw, a centre back. And today, there is a good news for Newcastle United fans. Take a look at the latest report from Florent Plattenberg. Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle, done deal. Full agreement with Aston Villa has been reached after the verbal agreement with the 24-year-old left midfielder was done. Long-term contract. Understand the transfer fee is £39 million plus £4 million add-ons. Ramsey is on his way to undergo his medical with Newcastle Football Club. The deal is set to be finalized this week. And Fabrizio Romano went on to say this. Exclusive, Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle. Here we go. Agreement for £40 million fee from Aston Villa. Ramsey agreed on personal terms and travel for medical at Newcastle United Football Club right now. Ramsey strongly wanted Newcastle and deal now done. So, Newcastle United have actually made their second signing. Last week, they signed Malik Thiaw from AC Milan, and today they have completed the signing of Ramsey Jacob from Aston Villa. That is a good one. Congratulations to Ramsey Jacob, who actually wanted to join Newcastle. So we're going to see how Eddie Howe will actually set up his team with this new addition in the 2025-2026 EPL season, which kicks off tonight as Liverpool takes on Bournemouth. Okay, let's switch and move into it. Still at St. James's Park. Let's take a look at the report coming from Eddie Howe after his press conference today. Check this out. Official. Alexander Isak out of Newcastle squad for this weekend. Eddie Howe, Isak's situation is the same, and I think that will remain the case. He was further asked this question. Also asked directly if Isak would remain at Newcastle in September. Howe replied, "At the moment, I would say yes, but I have had no change of feeling throughout the summer. He's contracted to us, but it's out of my hands. A reminder, the board have said not for sale all summer." So many managers had their press conferences today, and Eddie Howe is one manager that also had his press conference. And he stated it in his press conference that Isak is out of the squad for this weekend game. And he was further asked if Isak will remain in the club by September 1st. And he said yes, that Isak is going to remain in the club. And one thing is sure, he said the situation is not within his control. But Luke Edward went on to confirm what he has earlier posted in one of his articles, that Newcastle board have actually stated that Alexander Isak is not for sale. So we're going to see how this is going to play out. I mean, the transfer saga around Alexander Isak has been a very long one, and is beginning to get a twist, which personally, some personal vendetta, in my opinion, is beginning to crop in. So let's take a look at another article from Luke Edward. Check this out from Luke Edward. Alexander Isak's agent has failed him so badly. I don't condone Isak's behavior in the slightest, but he was told the move to Liverpool would happen even though they are unwilling to match valuation, and all he had to do was behave badly to force it through. He has now got a player who has alienated a fan base, tarnished his reputation with football forever, who is probably not going to get the move he was told was his to make. He signed a 6 years contract with no release clause. His agent negotiated that. Trying to force your way out with 3 years left on that deal was always going to be a very risky road to go down. But he did it anyway. Isak might still end up at Liverpool, but the chances are fading away, and have been for weeks now. How he repairs the damage remains to be seen, but he will play next season regardless. The sooner he realizes the terrible mistake he has made and apologizes, the better. Play well, score goals. He will get a huge move next summer if that's what he wants. Yes, that's the latest article from Luke Edward. If what is stated in this article is true, because to me, I actually see this as an allegation, accusing Alexander Isak agent of pushing Alexander Isak in making this terrible mistake. That it was Alexander Isak agent that told him that all he needs to do, whether the valuation is met or not, is for Alexander Isak to behave badly. I mean, Alexander Isak is an adult, and I don't think his agent could actually do that and tell him to behave badly, knowing fully well that a player of his caliber was contracted to the club for 6 good years. And in that contract, there was no release clause of any kind. And now, this is what Luke Edward is reported, if this article is to be true. But in other words, he's trying to say that the deal might happen, but the chances of Alexander Isak deal happening for him to leave St. James's Park to Anfield is fading away. And all what Alexander Isak need to do now is to try and see how he repairs the damage, and try and apologize to the team in order to be integrated, because he's good at scoring goals, and also he's good at scoring goals such that will help him repair his reputation. What do you make of the situation with Alexander Isak at Newcastle? Drop your comment down below, and in the coming days we'll see how this is going to play out. So let's switch gears and take a look at the latest concerning Nkunku. Take a look at this from Fabrizio Romano. Christopher Nkunku keen on Bayern move as initial talks started in the background when Al Nassr asked for Coman. Nkunku open to joining Bayern while Chelsea insists on permanent deal to approve his exit. Talks underway. Fabrizio Romano went on to say, Christopher Nkunku exit will be crucial as reported since July in order for Chelsea to accelerate for Xavi Simons. The plan has always been Nkunku and Jackson out, Xavi and Garnacho in. Xavi waiting for Chelsea Football Club while talks for Nkunku to Bayern are ongoing. I said this a couple of days ago in one of my videos when VfB Stuttgart rejected 60 million euros Bayern Munich submitted for Walter Mate. And I said it that all Bayern Munich need to do is just to pick their phone and put a call through to Chelsea. It might not be up to that amount. And the amount that Chelsea value Nkunku since January has actually dropped below 40 million pounds. But let's see how this will pan out in the coming days as talks between Chelsea Football Club and Bayern Munich is ongoing for Christopher Nkunku. Okay, let's switch gears to the red side of Manchester United, because it seems something is happening for Jadon Sancho. Take a look at this as coming from Fabrizio Romano. Jadon Sancho has opened doors to AS Roma move, and the proposal is worth 20 million pounds as total package. Loan deal with obligation to buy. Proposal at easy conditions to activate the permanent deal. Sancho doesn't want to go to Turkey at this stage, despite reports. Fabrizio Romano went on to say, as Roma are still waiting for Jadon Sancho to give his green light to the move, Manchester United prepared to accept Roma's 20 million pound bid for Sancho, but waiting for Jadon Sancho's decision. Jadon open to discussion since earlier this week, but still working on personal terms. So that is the latest report on Jadon Sancho. Manchester United are willing to accept the 20 million pound offer presented by AS Roma on a loan deal, but all what AS Roma is waiting for at this point in time is just for Jadon Sancho to give the green light. But it is understood that personal time is still being discussed between Jadon Sancho and AS Roma, but an agreement is yet to be reached. So we're going to see how this also will play out in the coming days, because all what Manchester United need to do in order for them to secure the signing of Carlos Baleba from Brighton is for them to sell 3 players as reported: Jadon Sancho, Garnacho and Anthony. So we're going to see if all of these players will exit Manchester United. But for Garnacho, it is definitely sure that Garnacho is Chelsea bound, because Last, the report from Fabrizio Romano and Garnacho was that the top Garnacho's situation is very, very much in a high advanced stage. So very soon, it will be a year we go for Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea. So let's see how that also will play out in the coming days. Okay, lastly, I'll end this video on a very good note. Let's head back to Chelsea and see the latest report coming from there concerning Marc Cucurella. Check out this report from Fabrizio Romano. Exclusive. Chelsea have now completed the agreement with Marc Cucurella over new deal. Seen as key player on the pitch, leader off the pitch, and really important for the present and future. New contract is signed and sealed for Cucurella at Chelsea Football Club. It's good to see that Marc Cucurella actually extended his deal, a long-term deal with Chelsea Football Club. Marc Cucurella is very key to the Chelsea project because currently is arguably, I just like saying this, Marc Cucurella is arguably the best left back in the world of football today. Congratulations to Marc Cucurella for extending his stay at Chelsea Football Club, the pride of London, the world champion. Thank you very much for watching and catch you in my next video. Bye. Catch you guys.